Jimmy on the beat, boy. Jimmy on the beat, boy. Jimmy on the beat, boy.
What's going on, everybody? I'm John J. II. Welcome to the Gin Sports Network podcast. I'm your host, as always. You know that. I'm here with Stainer, Brandon Smith. Stainer, how are you doing today, bro?
Doing good. New location here in an apartment, undisclosed location, but we are doing great today, as always. Another day of breathing the fresh air, going out, grinding, alive and well.
Hey, that's what it's all about, living and doing your best to succeed and kill it every
Absolutely.
single day. You got to do that. Smitty in the new location, undisclosed location, and I don't know if you want to tell the people where you live. They might be knocking on your door, breaking your door down.
Absolutely not.
So we'll keep it that way.
Don't need the fanboys showing up.
Right, exactly. They're already knocking. That's why he had to move, actually, because they knew where he lived before. But got a great show for you guys today. Pre-Thanksgiving show, really exciting stuff to talk about. We'll keep it short and sweet for you guys today, so you can get onto your Turkey Week festivities. We know it's a great day today. It's a big eventful day. Pre-Thanksgiving, biggest drinking day in America. Huge party day. Good.
I just can't wait to eat the food tomorrow. My gosh.
Oh man, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be awesome. Been waiting all year since last Thanksgiving for this. So, real quick, we'll talk about the Turkey Bowl. Team Bing obviously defeats Team Conklin 84-42, and it was a good battle. I want to say, Smitty, let me ask you this: where the hell were you on Sunday?
Yeah, disappointed to say the least. I think if I would have gone out there, there might have been a different score. Team Conklin might have won actually.
Oh boy.
I would have pulled out a little bit of Barry Sanders, a little bit of Deion Sanders, a little bit of Devin Hester, whatever it may be, Brian Urlacher. I would have been out there taking heads off. So it's a good thing for the other participants. I probably wasn't there. Good thing for my body. I probably wasn't there. But it looked like a lot of fun. You guys looked like I had a lot of fun. You guys were smart about it. And I look forward to next year. Next year I'll be there. Next year I'll be there. I was unfortunately sleeping.
Oh, Yeah, I mean, he had a long night at work, and I understand that, it happens
Yeah.
and things like
Working at
that.
the
Things
bar,
come up.
it's late, but honestly, those are excuses.
Oh
Excuses
yeah,
there. So just disappointed I wasn't there, but I'm glad you guys had a good time. I'm glad you guys, you got the participants to get the job done and
yeah.
throw it together.
It was kind of interesting, very similar actually to last year's Turkey Bowl, a little bit more, I guess scattered around as far as the draft style. It was definitely draft style, open ended, had a pool of gentlemen where we could choose from.
Hmm.
Whoever picked first, obviously the other team got the ball first, and it worked really well. I really liked how the format
Yeah.
turned out, and it turned out really good. And we retained the platinum platter for 2 years in a row. So looking to do that again next year. Obviously, training camp starts today, so I'm excited. I'm excited for next
No
year,
off
and it's
season
always a
apparently for
yeah,
John Bukowski.
exactly. It's a big Gin Promotions, Gin Sports Network, whatever you want to call it. It's a big tradition over here in the Gin family. So,
What
without
was that,
further
year
ado,
two? Year two on
this was
that?
year two. Yeah, this was year two of the Turkey
Good,
Bowl.
good, good.
Looking for many more
Maybe,
years.
maybe we'll be like the Lions. We'll get into that later though. We'll be like the
Yeah,
Lions, maybe.
hopefully not, but let's get into it. Let's talk about the Golden State Warriors. Klay Thompson participates in his first full practice since tearing his ACL in Game 6 of the 2019 NBA Finals and his right Achilles in November of 2020. It's been a long time since Klay has seen the hardwood in an in-game scenario. We talked about in the last show how he has been participating in 5-on-5s in practice and training and kind of rehabilitating those injuries, and he's excited. He talked about in a press conference how he's excited to get back on the hardwood and to compete and to reunite the Splash Brothers. I guess, what does this do for the Golden State Warriors? How does this revive what they already have going on, which is a lot of success all over the place? How will Klay Thompson affect the current Golden State Warriors team?
Well, John, this is the second week we've talked about the Warriors, and obviously Klay Thompson is a big talking topic there. What I do see happening is, hopefully Klay Thompson comes back. He's ready to go. They it's been a long time coming, and I'm sure he's been eager ever since he's been snubbed from the top 75 NBA cast. He's been wearing a jersey number of 77. So Klay Thompson is ready to come back with a vengeance. It's gonna be a lot of fun to see. He's one of the best shooters, one of the best guards we've seen in the game. He's a Hall of Famer through and through. And what's going to happen with this Warriors team, who is 15-2 right now? That's a phenomenal record. This team's playing out of their mind. But, they're going to work Klay Thompson back into the system. They're going to get him limited minutes, of course. When he's ready to rock and roll, we're going to see what happens with this team. You're looking at it right now. You have three players who are in the teens of scoring. You obviously have Steph Curry at 28.4. You got Andrew Wiggins at 19.1, and you have Jordan Poole at 18.4 there. So, and if you look at the minutes, obviously the starting five are on top. So you're going to be seeing probably Jordan Poole losing some minutes once Klay Thompson's ready to rock and roll repetitively. But I think with Steve Kerr being just a phenomenal coach, he's not worried about Klay Thompson and this team with what they're doing in the regular season. They've got it under control. They're playing, they're getting their chemistry down, and it's all about Klay coming back to the NBA, getting up to game speed, and making sure he's ready to rock and roll for the long haul. I'm really excited to see Klay come back in this team, to have another dynamic scorer, shooter. We'll have to see how his defense is, but I'm very excited for this team. It's a lot of fun to see what they're doing right now and what they could potentially have.
Yeah, exactly. They got a lot of good things going for them. A lot
Hmm.
of things are working. The puzzle pieces are falling again. We saw a little bit of a lull period since they won their last championship, but they're getting back on that boat. They're getting back to being that championship-esque team, which we all expected the most recent Golden State Warriors to be. And a lot of people have been counting on the Warriors for a lot of years for them to be a championship-like team, and they're expecting to see that. And I think they're seeing that a lot more, and they'll see even more of it once Klay Thompson comes back into the game. So I'm excited to see Klay come back. He needs it for himself. He's obviously a veteran now in the NBA scene. So he's excited. Got a comment here from Sobo Bink. The match Friday, Bucks versus Michigan. And MSU looks to get a big win against Penn State. Yeah, I'm looking for that. Don't worry, Sobo. We're going to get into the match here, the game coming up here later in the show. So hopefully you stick around for that. But yeah, big game for Michigan. Real quick, we'll give you a little bit of a sneak peek. Big game for Michigan for a lot of reasons, more than the rivalry itself. You
Let's
got the
talk.
Big Ten East at play. You got the college football playoff at play. So a lot of things to consider there. First, though, I want to talk about with you, Smitty, let's talk about the Isaiah Stewart LeBron scuffle. I know you saw that. Everybody saw it. It was a game, with the Pistons and Lakers at Little Caesars Arena, and this was a big deal. People were calling for LeBron to get suspended, and cancel culture is bigger than it's ever been. And LeBron's been calling for canceling of a lot of different players, athletes, politicians, you name it. So to see people come after LeBron, you've even seen the Enes Kanter issue with LeBron that he's had with him, and it's coming for everybody. Nobody is safe when it comes to cancel culture, but this scuffle was something to be seen. It kind of reminded me of your retweet earlier this week or even last week about the Malice in the Palace. It kind of revived that a little bit. This was the Malice at the Little Caesars Arena, partially.
Yeah.
What did you have to say about this?
I wasn't watching the game, but from what I
saw the videos, right? You saw
yes,
the videos.
Of course. I'm surprised. Isaiah Stewart, if he would just walked away, 2-game suspension, not a big deal. But what we saw from the replays and the videos, LeBron James intentionally hit him in the mouth. He didn't like that Isaiah Stewart was getting physical with him in the paint, on the box now, the free throw. He didn't like that. So he threw. I mean, if you haven't watched the video, go watch it. Go watch the video of it underneath the hoop. It's a clear. LeBron turns his head, gets the visual of him, and whaps him in the mouth. I mean, so it was intentional. And to for all the LeBron lovers and whatnot to try to back him up, look, just take this one on the chin, like Isaiah Stewart did. It was intentional. It was dirty. LeBron James should be, I think, maybe not suspended. I mean, suspended maybe a couple more games, but maybe fined. I mean, come on. Guys. That's just ridiculous. Just because he's King James and he's done all this and that, and he's been in the league for this amount of years, doesn't mean that a malice play, an intentional play like that should be gone unseen and directed with the right punishment. It's ridiculous. I mean, it was brutal. I mean, he smacked him right in the mouth. So I give Isaiah Stewart respect for not throwing some hands right then and there, because he knew.
I give him credit too for standing up for himself. You look at the replays, different angles, you can see it a lot more clear than other angles where it doesn't look very intentional from LeBron's point of view. But you slow it down, you put the above the hoop angle on it, and you can see it very clearly that there was contact made, and it really appeared to be intentional from my perspective.
Oh, absolutely.
And there's a certain point where Isaiah Stewart, it's appropriate to act and react a certain way, but to have coaches hold you back and then you're almost to the locker room and then you make a quick dart back to the midcourt, I think you're taking it a little too far at that point. And, I love the energy. Don't get me wrong. I love the energy. I love the fighting spirit from the Washington guy, but it has to be cut off at a certain point where you've got your point across. You're doing more harm to your own team, your own personnel than good at that point. And people are just trying to hold you back, and it's just not a good look for you going forward. But it was a tense situation. It was a tense situation, and it is what it is. Another comment from Sobo: rules are bent for several. Ratings run the games, and that's definitely the case in this situation. I think it's all about the ratings, all about what kind of recollection, what kind of attention this game can get in this entire issue, because that's what really boosts the ratings up. So don't want to give that segment too much attention, but just kind of wanted to bring that up. If you guys have any comments on that, make sure to let us know. Obviously, a still developing thing that has to do with the NBA and going forward in the NBA, different protocols and whatnot. So let's get into the NFL. Let's talk about the NFL. Let's do a quick recap of this past week's NFL games. Some pretty key games in week 11 that we have to talk about. Lions lose again. Baltimore wins a nail biter against Chicago. I guess, what games were you looking at? Minnesota beats Green Bay. That's a big win. That's a big win in the NFC North.
Yeah, that's a big win for Kirk Cousins, especially. That game was a war, and of course, Aaron Rodgers almost made the comeback there. Good game and whatnot. Without Aaron Jones, it changes the dynamic of the Green Bay offense a little bit there. A.J. Dillon is still a phenomenal running back. He's just not as elusive on the outside, pass catching and whatnot. So it takes a small part of the offensive out of play. So good win there by Minnesota, who's been proving themselves week in, week out. I'd say, Detroit almost pulled themselves off with a win there. I had a -10. The abysmal Cleveland Browns, I mean, they're becoming that team again where fans are going to be wearing the bag over their heads soon enough. The the brown, paper bag. It's coming. It's coming back. This Baker Mayfield needs to figure it out. I mean, he's slightly injured and whatnot. You lose OBJ. Kareem Hunt's coming back. Nick Chubb's a phenomenal running back. Soon enough, this organization's going to have to figure out what's going on here. What do we need to do to make this team a championship team? Because everyone was raving about this Browns team, and to barely win against Detroit with a backup quarterback and Tim Boyle. But come on, you got to start really looking around there.
Yeah,
Some
you got to figure it
games,
out.
yep, some games that are eye-opening. The Colts putting a whooping on the Buffalo Bills away. Jonathan Taylor had 5 TDs, I believe, that game. Another one here is Tennessee losing to Houston at home. I mean, that is a parlay killer, man. Parlay killer. Killed mine.
That's
Another,
unbelievable.
yeah, another game there. Philadelphia, a team that everyone needs to watch out for, putting up 40 points against New Orleans. New Orleans has a decent defense. Now, I'm wondering what's going on over there in New Orleans. There's a lot of things going on over there. Keep your eye out. We might hear some stuff. Not real sure. I just got a weird feeling about that crew over there. You got San Francisco getting another win last week against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Hoorah, 30-10. Go out there and do your job against a terrible team. Cincinnati bouncing back, beating Las Vegas away, 32-13. Dallas losing to KC, 19-9. You'd think that game would have been a little bit higher scoring game. Dak Prescott did not play well. And then we have here Arizona with the backups coming through. Colt McCoy, 328 passing yards. The guy's showing up. He's doing it. He might be playing for the Lions next year against Seattle, who's just, man, that's a tough year for those guys. And then, of course, you got Pittsburgh versus Los Angeles, 41-37. I could not believe that final score. I went to bed, and the Chargers were up by, 2 touchdowns. And I wake back up, and they only win by 5. It's like, gosh, guys, thanks for covering. So just a couple games they're looking at, moving into the next week. Obviously Miami beat New York Jets. Hoorah, I don't really care. Baltimore, tough win against Chicago. That was Tyler Huntley's, or was it Tyler? Yeah, Tyler Huntley's first career start and first career NFL win. So good for that guy there. He is from Utah, who has been, doing well in the college scheme.
Utah Utes just beat Oregon. Big deal.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It was you versus me, and I got dominated. Those Ducks got dominated by the Utes. So
yes, they did.
Moving on to the upcoming week, we got the Turkey Bowl, we got the Lions and the Bears, the Raiders and the Cowboys, the Bills and the Saints. I'm kind of just comparing and contrasting from last week, the teams that showed up, that wanted to play, that wanted to win, to this week. There's a lot of good games this week.
Yeah, exactly. You talk about this past week. A lot of parlay killers out there. I know my parlays got annihilated from multiple games. You can basically pick any game out of a hat, and it would constitute as a parlay killer if you argued it hard enough. So we'll leave that week in the past.
Well, I tell you what, the biggest one of them all is that Tennessee one, man. Because you look at these games here, the teams that should have won, won. Seattle's been bad all year. The Chargers should win that game. Kansas City theoretically should have won that game with Amari Cooper out at home with a dominant win last week, putting up 41 points. Cincinnati, good team. San Francisco, good team. Washington Panthers. If you took that game, then you're just, you're throwing your bet slip up in the wind and hoping it fell back down to you. Philadelphia against a team that, New Orleans with a backup quarterback and no Alvin Kamara. Yeah, Miami, New York Jets, again, another one. And then again, Green Bay, Minnesota. It's kind of like, okay, who are we taking there? I had Green Bay, I had Minnesota, but that came down to the wire.
Green Bay should have won that.
Didn't watch it. But taking the Cleveland with the points, bad bet there. And of course, no one's really going to take Baltimore without Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I think the Bills game, that was a parlay killer too.
Well, quite frankly,
Bills Indy.
Yeah, it could have been, I suppose. I took the Colts plus 10.5. I was just as surprised as everyone else, 41-15.
Look at that spread. Look at that spread. That's what the bookies are assuming. They're assuming Indy, if they lose by a touchdown, they're still covering.
Well, a game that you kind of look at and you say to yourself, well, the Colts have been playing well offensively. They've been playing well, and the Bills kind of have been struggling. They lost to Jacksonville. So you look at that game, and most people are going to say, I'm not going to take it. Or they're going to be like, okay, could the Colts win? Yes. Could it be a close game? Yes. So 10.5 points like I took was more than safe, apparently. But a smart bettor looks at these games, and you just don't take some of them. And then the teams that should have won, they came out and did their job. I'd say. Green Bay, Minnesota, that's kind of a game that you look at and say, okay, well, there's no Aaron Jones, but Minnesota's been putting up points and playing well offensively. Kirk Cousins has been doing well this year. But a lot of fun in the NFL this year, really. A lot of, teams winning that you'd be like, wow, and upsets, of course. I'm really enjoying this NFL season.
Yeah, me too. It's been a really good season. Obviously, 3 games happening tomorrow. Thanksgiving, Chicago at Detroit. Detroit looks to get their first win at home. That's a long shot. I think that's you're asking a lot to get a win right
Well,
there.
Andy Dalton is going to be the starting quarterback. Justin Fields is not playing.
So, I mean, anything's possible. I've gave up hope on the Lions. I gave up hope before the season. We wanted to see the revival with Dan Campbell at the helm, but we just didn't see it. Haven't seen it yet. And give him a year. Give him a year. You got to give him a year to get warmed up, to get the hang of the scene in the coaching position, especially head coaching position. He's never coached anywhere before this team, so he's got some things to figure out. I'm sure he's learning a lot along the way. And Dallas, they're gonna have to figure it out against Las Vegas. I think that's gonna be a good game against Vegas. Both of these teams have struggled the last few weeks. So, and then Buffalo and New Orleans, both those teams have been struggling too last week. So, who's gonna win that one? It's kind of a crapshoot.
With the Cowboys and Las Vegas, we're gonna go ahead and we'll talk about it. We'll come back to the Lions one, but Cowboys at home, I think they're gonna have a turnaround game here. They're away last week. The defense didn't play really that well. I mean, they only let up 19 points, not too bad against KC, and of course Dak Prescott didn't play well. So you gotta look at Dak Prescott in the eyes and say, come on, guy, what's going on here? If he plays well, the team does well. And of course, Amari Cooper was out. I'm not exactly sure of his status right now, or CeeDee Lamb's. I know he's been banged up, but Michael Gallup has come back. So with Cooper being out, I mean, you'd love to have him in, but we'll see. I have to check the status there. And then in the Bills against the Saints, it's going to be indoors. You don't have to worry about weather there. Both the Cowboys and the Saints game there indoors. And I expect the Bills to. We will see, I suppose, because at times the New Orleans Saints defense, especially their secondary, likes to show up. So kind of we're looking at the Bills saying, hey, is the running game going to be there? Are we going to be able to move the ball on the ground? And then, of course, Josh Allen and putting the ball up in the air. Obviously we don't want any turnovers there, but I'm leaning Bills there. I'm leaning Cowboys as well. And the Lions you just can't, man. I mean, I think they could win this weekend. Khalil Mack is out. He's been out since last week or whatever it was. But there's another game here. There's another game for the Lions to they have an opportunity. They have an opportunity. They really do. It's not one of those games where it's like, not a chance. There is a chance, actually.
Yeah, we'll see. Let's address Cody's comment here. What do y'all think about Aaron Rodgers showing his foot on camera?
Showing his foot on camera?
I don't know if I saw that.
Yeah.
Is his foot injured or something? Cody, please clarify that comment.
He was dealing with a toe injury. But let me say one thing about the Lions and Thanksgiving. The Lions, I love this. The tradition of the Detroit Lions. They've been playing in the Thanksgiving game every year since 1934. The only years they didn't play was in 1941 and 1944 during World War II when there was no games being played. So all those people out there talking about the Lions on Thanksgiving again and again and again. Good. We should continuously see the Lions play on Thanksgiving. No other team has played every Thanksgiving like the Lions have. The Lions have the most wins, 37. But they also have, of course, here's a Lions stat, the most losses at 42. They're 37-42. The next closest is the Cowboys. The Cowboys have the second most Thanksgiving wins behind the Detroit Lions at 30-22-1 all time. So that's a good winning record there. And,
it's a tradition that's been around for a long time.
Yeah, yep. So some fun stuff there with the Lions. It gives us something to enjoy. We're out here on Thanksgiving. We're eating our great meals. We're spending quality time with the family, people we haven't seen all the time. And you get to have the Lions on the TV. You get to have your in-state team on the TV. Those other NFL teams are a little bit jealous, wondering why they aren't playing on Thanksgiving. But we get to see that. And I love that by the NFL, allowing the Lions to play on Thanksgiving Day.
At least some people are happy. Let's move on to Cody's comment. His foot is fractured, but there was speculation that he has lesions on his feet. Had COVID toe. He legit put his bare foot on the table in interview, but Lions will find a way to lose. Trust me. Yeah, I didn't see that. I guess I'll have to look at that video. I didn't see that video of Aaron Rodgers, but I mean, if he's going to be out, then the Packers are in for it going down the stretch here. Especially that'll put into question their hopes of being a Super Bowl team.
Excuse me.
So we'll have to focus on that going forward. Egg Bowl too. Yes, you got the Egg Bowl coming up, and that'll have to be focused on as well.
The Egg Bowl.
The Egg Bowl. Let's move on, though. We got a little bit of time left. Let's talk about Michigan and Ohio State. The game is coming up this weekend, this Saturday. This is not only a fight for a rivalry. I said this earlier. It's also a fight for the Big Ten East, who's going to be ahead and who's going to make it to the college football playoff. Is Ohio State going to reclaim their title and win again at Michigan at the Big House, break all the hearts of the Wolverine fans, or is Michigan going to make a stand against Ohio State? What are your projections in this game, Smitty? Completely objective, and then maybe you can bring in your subjective thoughts after that.
Well, if the Michigan Wolverines want to win this game at home and pull off an upset, they're going to need to play some really good defense. They're going to have to hope that C.J. Stroud doesn't come out and dominate like he did against the Spartans there, and we're going to want to control the time clock of the game. We're going to want to have that running game going. We'll make sure that Corum is back, hopefully, and we're going to want to control the possession, the time clock and possession, man. Ohio State is lethal. They're athletic. They're tough. They're dominant, man. But we have the advantage this year. We're at home. We have a solid team. The defense has to show up, and Cade McNamara has to be able to throw the ball because Ohio State's going to stack that box, and they're going to make us throw. So Cade McNamara is big. These two quarterbacks in this game is what's going to kind of tell us. You watch the first couple quarters and see what's going on in the backfields, how the game. If this game is rolling on and teams are scoring, there's no way Michigan's going to keep up. Not a chance. But if our defense shows up, plays tough, gets to that freshman quarterback and C.J. Stroud, gets some pressure on him, starts hitting him hard, we have an opportunity. There really is an opportunity here. So this is Jim Harbaugh's biggest game, I think, of his coaching career to this point now. Obviously can't control the pass, but the Wolverines have a real chance to take down number 2 and get that win in the Big Ten conference. There's going to be some implications if they can win this game.
Yeah, definitely. I think the Michigan Wolverines and Jim Harbaugh alike, they have to look at last week's game against the Sparties. Take that as a wake-up call. Once you get this Ohio State team going, they are not going to stop until somebody stops them. Very hard to stop, almost like an immovable object, or like an unstoppable force, rather. Michigan's going to have to be that immovable object to be able to attempt to stop this unstoppable force. Yes, guys. Sorry, maybe I should have clarified what the Egg Bowl is. Ole Miss against Mississippi State is the Egg Bowl. We'll be talking about that more on Friday. So that's going to be a good game too. Like Cody said, 9-2 ranked Ole Miss versus 7-4 Mississippi State. And Cody also has the Michigan Wolverines by 100. Now, that might be a little bit ambitious, but I do like the spirit. I like the heart. I like the enthusiasm. And this is going to be a fun one to watch. And I told everybody this on the Monday podcast, the Gin College podcast. I'm going to be decked out in maize and blue on Friday. So look out for that. That's probably going to be the only time of the year you see that happen. But I hate Ohio State more than any team in the world. College, professional, you name it. They're the most despised team, and that is what it is. So I'm hoping that Ryan Day is going to be in tears come Saturday. So I really want to see that happen. That would put a smile on my face, and it would give me some hope for the Big Ten. And I'd love to see Michigan do well. I already got mines against Michigan as far as State beating them, so if that can be their only loss of the season. And Michigan goes on to beat Ohio State, claim the Big Ten East, maybe go on to win the Big Ten Conference in the conference finals, and move on and do some damage in the college football playoff. Then by all means, I'd love to see that. So I'm really hopeful for Michigan and the Wolverines this weekend, but we'll see what happens. We got to pull for our teams, but we also got to be objective if we're betting it. So got to be focused and got to stay in the game so we know what we're doing and not making dumb decisions on the betting slips. So good deal. All right. I'll leave it at that, guys. Smitty, you got any last comments, any last words before we sign off before Thanksgiving?
No, sir. Just happy Thanksgiving, everyone out there. Thanks for tuning in. I just want to say I'm grateful for Gin Commission to put these podcasts together to let us to come out here and talk about sports with you guys. It's a lot of fun week in, week out.
Yeah, I'm thankful for you too, Smitty. Thanks for hopping on the GSN Sports Network pod today. Make sure to check out all of our socials down below on the bottom of the screen on the link tree. And make sure you guys stay tuned to all the updates on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of our outlets. They're all attached on our link tree. And Sobo with the last comment of the turkeys. Turkeys have been slaughtered and they are being prepared tomorrow. And there's a big story on ESPN that I might touch on tomorrow. The day John Madden met the turducken. Very impressive stuff. And I'll have to check that out and maybe make some comments on that for you guys. But until next time, I'm your host, as always, John J. II, here on the GSN Sports Network podcast with Smitty. Have a great night.